Hello and welcome to Kump.
Hello.
Hello, Lucie.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm good.
It's a hell of a week out there. It's a hell of a week in the news. A lot going on. I don't really understand any of it. There's a lot going over my head, out of my domain. Do you know about this show, The Daily Show?
I've heard of it. Yeah.
Apparently, the host of The Daily Show is like is fighting against troops. What's going on?
It's former host of the Daily Show.
So the host of the Daily Show is somehow, is it like a gunfighting, or is he just kind of like is he protesting the troops and so it gets physical with his cohorts, or is he actually like trying to do it like a paramilitary? Is he fighting against I heard he's fighting against them in the Capitol.
He should be, if he really wants to make a difference.
Yeah.
He should make a giant burn pit in front of the Capitol building
And burn all the troops is what you're saying?
and start throwing people in.
I don't know. I mean, I personally think the troops should be supported. So I don't. If you go for this kind of thing, this is Craig Kilborn, by the way.
No, this is Mr. Jon Stewart.
Jon Stewart.
Yeah.
From the guy from Big Daddy.
Yes, actually.
Okay,
yeah.
so he ended up hosting the Daily Show.
I don't think that's where most people would remember him from, but yeah, he was.
He was
Big
the
Daddy.
deadbeat dad in Big Daddy, I believe. Right, the man who abandoned his child.
Well, I don't think he knew he had a child.
Well, but he's an actor portraying a part. It's like, I'm not saying he is a deadbeat dad. I'm just saying that he very very believably played a guy who abandoned his kid. So let's some bum like Adam Sandler to help him and raise him.
Right.
And no one was like, this doesn't make sense. Why would this guy? People were like, this made sense. It was good casting. That's all I'm saying. As an actor, it doesn't mean he'd do it.
Look, to be fair to Jon Stewart's character in Big Daddy, I think once the paternity results were revealed, he was very quick to take responsibility.
Once they sued for paternity and he was forced to by the court, he said, okay, I'll raise the kid now. I mean, look, it could be worse. Some people still don't. And so like the fact that when a judge told him to, he, decided to cut his losses and start raising the kid. That's, I guess, commendable. And, the way the world is now.
Yeah.
What? I'm like, I liked him. And I thought he was good. I thought he did a real good job playing the deadbeat dad. So you're saying he was hosting a daily show.
A Daily Show.
And now how did he end up? Is it like John McCaffrey? He's fighting troops. I don't understand.
Well, I think while he was on the Daily Show, people came to trust his voice on like the media and on politics, and probably I could imagine it being.
So he would say stuff like, our troops are actually targets for me, and I want to fight them. He would say stuff like that. Like
I think
I'm trying to get into like how this evolves. How a guy like Jon Stewart starts launching a civil war, but only against the military. It doesn't seem like he wants. It doesn't seem like he wants any kind of material gain or like position or land. He just wants to hurt soldiers.
Not against the military so much as just veterans.
Right. Yeah. It doesn't seem to be going against active military people.
And also not going against. He's more fighting for them. But that's secondary.
What do you mean for? What do you mean?
Look.
I thought he was fighting against them.
No, he's trying.
Oh, he's on their side?
Yeah.
Oh. Okay. That's. I guess that makes. I mean, it makes more sense why anyone would do that. Because I was really kind of confused why the guy from Big Daddy was trying to kill soldiers, and I was like, this seems. But no, you're telling me he's not.
No. He's he wants them to have health care and stuff.
Okay, that's not that. I can get behind that. Interesting. Okay, so Jon Stewart.
I'm listening.
So Jon Stewart was that's what he was doing in the Capitol. He wasn't like starting a war.
Yeah, every few years he goes up because I guess this thing keeps going up for debate. Like they can't pass a bill that just says forever these people will get health care, I guess.
Now, who are these people? Native Americans?
They just don't.
Who are we talking about again?
Native Americans.
I don't know. Who are these people?
You think Native Americans are keeping U.S. veterans from getting health care?
Who's these people?
Like Congress.
Okay. I don't know. I mean, look, if I was Native American, I might lobby against soldiers getting health care.
Well,
because they did so much, not these soldiers, but over time, U.S. soldiers were not very nice to them.
Look, I'll give you that. If it were a bunch of Native Americans saying that, then it would be, those would be great representatives for not giving U.S.
Now,
veterans
you counter to me and you say, hey, the Custer was just implementing a policy. He was just the tip of the sword for the Congress. Well, I don't, perhaps Custer wasn't, shouldn't be as villainized as we love to do. But because I wasn't in the Congress, so I don't know.
Right.
But at a certain point, I just know I never marched a Trail of Tears.
Right.
So I think I'm doing pretty good. Anyway.
Yeah.
So Jon Stewart's in the Capitol.
He's in the Capitol.
He wants the troops to Now I thought he was a 9/11 responder guy. Now he's branched over into veterans.
Well, it applies to veterans. It applies to first. Well, I think there was maybe a different bill for first responders.
Right, he was sitting there crying in the Congress a year or two ago, maybe longer, just weepy and and kind of almost fussy. He seems. Well, he got that thing where a big kid's kind of tired, and so he's kind of crying, but he's kind of angry. And he's like, "Why don't you just give them the health care they need?" And then I don't think he was wrong. I think that seems like a reason. Sometimes a kid is right when he's having a tantrum. Sometimes a kid having a tantrum isn't wrong. I don't want to go home with Uncle Jack. Well, that wouldn't, he might be having a tantrum, quote unquote, but who is Uncle Jack and what happens at Uncle Jack's house?
How is he being treated at Uncle Jack?
Exactly. So, we don't automatically assume that the kid having the tantrum or Jon Stewart is being, a buffoon or anything.
Jon Stewart.
Jon Stewart, is that what I said?
Yeah.
Jon Stewart. No, look, I think it's commendable. This guy goes out there and a lot of people say support the troops and support the firefighters. And I feel like Jon Stewart really fell hard for that propaganda. I feel like he was we all just kind of say it, but he's a little kid. He believes it.
Yeah.
And it makes for these funny moments where it's no one meant that. We have these guys go to foreign countries and get shot at, and then they burn uranium and whatever. Next to their bathroom. It's of course we're not trying to you think you realize how much it would cost to insure them? That's not what we do. If we were gonna give them health insurance, we wouldn't be putting them next to burn pits in the first place.
Yeah.
That's that's crazy.
Right.
That's like putting them next to a cancer factory. Why would you do that? Why would you make them drink Agent Orange? Which they did.
Yeah.
See, that's the beauty of what I'm doing here. The high wire rack of my satire. Apparently, they made the boys drink Agent Orange back in the day.
Jeez.
And they were fine.
That can't be good for you.
I remember people telling me that, what you say about that, they say it's so dangerous, but yeah, they had guys on the air drinking and stuff. Now, first of all, this person didn't even, I knew this person, I don't want to say who it was, didn't even account for the fact that maybe it wasn't really Agent Orange, but maybe it was. Maybe I misunderstood. Maybe they were pouring it out of the fuselage or whatever held the Agent Orange. But even nevertheless, the idea that it wouldn't poison you on the spot as if you were drinking acid,
right,
but might still be bad for you, a week later even.
Sure.
By the time they aired that, the guy might have been dead. Yeah. Regardless, it was a detour for Agent Orange. If you're not familiar with Agent Orange, so it's a defoliant. Anyway, right?
Yeah, it's
something they use in Vietnam.
It fucked up a lot of people in Vietnam.
They got to get rid of the trees so they could bomb people more effectively and shoot them.
And didn't it also kill a bunch of just Vietnamese people?
Probably. I mean, no one's counting. People are counting that, but not. When you go to these things, it's always the troops. I got Agent Orange. Weren't you dumping that on babies? I feel bad for you, but this doesn't seem like just a you problem. Look what they did to me. Well, you were dropping. I mean, I feel terrible. I mean, they shouldn't have been making you do it, but it's just kind of crazy. We're just dumping it into their water supply,
right?
And just destroying all their agriculture.
Yeah,
look what happened. You're driving that walker thing from Star Wars, and you got knocked over by Luke Skywalker. He tripped you up. Look what they've done to my boy.
Yeah, when I bombed that wedding, the sound of the explosion blew my ears out. I'll never hear the same way
I
again.
have a little tinnitus, I think. It's called tinnitus, right? Yeah. It's not great. I mean, I can hear, but like if it's like a loud thing on TV, I feel like a weird scratching feeling. I don't like it. So Jon Stewart, what is he accomplishing in the Capitol? He's been doing this for years. He tried to get firefighters health care. It didn't accomplish that. And so he just abandoned the firefighters and moved on to veterans?
No, I think he's actually been like pretty successful in general.
I think he gets on the YouTube. It's more than I've done. So I'm not, Mr. Jon Stewart, if you listen to our podcast, don't think that I'm like, taking a shot. But,
Mr. Stewart, don't be a coward. Come on the pod.
Come debate me. Come debate me. It does seem like, it's more of an indictment of our country and our current state of affairs.
No, these people are scumbags. Because the argument there's always some, like, bullshit argument for why they're not passing it. Like, this time it's that, like $400 billion that was always in the bill was moved from like discretionary spending to mandatory spending,
right.
and like Republicans are basically calling it like pork, essentially, which is like let's say it is, which I don't think it is, but like let's say it is. Like it's like I'm pretty sure like the only reason, like Mitch McConnell is one of the people blocking it. Mm-hmm. I'm pretty sure the only reason he's still in office is because of like the sheer amount of pork he gets for Kentucky. Like,
that's pretty much true of like every anyone's been there longer.
Yeah,
than
lots
this.
of
Like,
it. I don't mean to make it just like a Republican issue, but it's like
I'm sure he's a real sloppy pig.
Yeah,
and gets that pork real nice and slow cooked.
Yeah, but like
I'm sure he might be the most. I mean, I don't know, but I'm saying like I'm not trying to underplay because he might be one of the craziest pork boys in history. I just don't know, but I'm saying, that's pretty standard to get a lot of pork if you're the head guy.
Now he just wants some pork.
I want to cook that boy. I mean, I mean, Mitch McConnell, would you have dinner with Mitch McConnell?
I don't want to
a romantic dinner. No, we're like, but assume I'm out of the picture.
A romantic dinner?
I'm just saying, if a man like Mitch, not a man like him. If Mitch McConnell, with all the power and trappings that comes with him, if he, tried to pull a indecent proposal like being Robert Redford. He met you at a casino, that new casino in Long Island.
I don't like how quickly you're developing this scenario where Mitch McConnell makes love to me.
I didn't say makes love. I said, would you go to a romantic
That's
dinner?
what an indecent proposal is.
No, all right, but I mean, he's
that's the indecent part.
I meant he's doing the schmooze. I mean, he's gonna want to have, but you don't have to. This is not a situation where I'm gonna fantasize about it. No, I'm just asking. Would you like have a nice it's not just a business dinner is my point. I'm not saying you're making love on the table. It's not romantic that way. It's just it's a dinner where he's like putting the candles on the table.
Is it like, am I doing some kind of espionage where as a result of this dinner, like the burn pit victims will get the health care?
No, there's no quid pro quo. I'm just asking, it's supposed to be an aside, a quick aside. Like, this guy's pretty gross. He's got bad politics as far as you're concerned. Some people love his politics, and they're also entitled to that, I guess. But point is, but he's a powerful man. So I'm saying, like, if he asked me to dinner, I might go to dinner with him. Now, we were engaged, so I wouldn't in this case. And I would not say I would have sex with him. But I might go, like, if he said to me, can I have a romantic dinner with you, Ray? I might say yes, in theory. Just to see, what being under the wings of power feels like.
I mean, do you get any... Look, the idea of an indecent proposal is you do something you wouldn't otherwise do. It could be a dinner. It could be a dinner. And then you get some money.
When I said indecent proposal, I was only drawing the comparison of how suave Robert Redford was in that movie, and rich, and like how a guy like that. I'm not trying to recreate indecent proposal with the here, let me fuck you for $1 million. Like, here's some cash. Here's a bucket of cash. Come be a pig. That's not what I was trying to do. I was just trying to, I'm just likening Mitch McConnell to Robert Redford in a physical way.
Look, you can't liken him to Robert Redford because Mitch McConnell is like an exact replica of the guy, who Hannibal Lecter's friend
Multiple MIGs?
He eats his face.
Oh, wait, the guy in the movie Hannibal, you mean?
In Hannibal,
okay, the lesser. I thought you meant multiple MIGs. Who said what did MIG say to you when he weighed your cell? He's like, I can smell your cunt. He's like, oh, I unfortunately cannot. And then he threw his comment. Point is, I don't even meant that guy, but you mean the guy in the third movie who had his face eaten by a pig?
By pigs, and then Hannibal Lecter was eating it.
That's
the result.
This analogy has lost all potency to the original point because
that was a cool scene though.
It was good. I mean, honestly, you know who that was, right?
Who was that?
Gary Oldman.
Really?
Yes, the transformative.
That guy is just a chameleon.
He's just that. He's just doing everything. Look. He might be Mitch McConnell half the time, and we don't even know it. That's how good he is. I would have dinner with them. I'd see where things went, and I would say right up front, I don't care. I mean, I care, but for the purposes of dinner, I don't care about the troops or firemen. This is not what this is about. We're human beings. But anyway, moving on. So, Jon Stewart is. I'm saying McConnell's got the pork. He hasn't moved his bill. He stopped this bill in his tracks, right? Where's pork?
Yeah, along with some other people.
Okay. And so, again, I mean, this is not. He got out. Look, Jon Stewart, for all his guile and his cunning, has been outmaneuvered in the Senate by these career politicians. Does that surprise you?
Look, I think the game that's being played usually when Jon Stewart gets involved is that he's Jon Stewart, and it's and it's fucked up. But when Jon Stewart yells or cries or makes a poignant speech, people pay attention to it, and it's an effective mechanism for just bringing what's a pretty bipartisan shame on whoever is blocking it. It's most people aren't gonna be aren't gonna dismiss veterans who want health care.
Right, but these guys are pros. This is kind of like when a comedian, right? Which he is on some level, right?
Yeah.
He's very funny in the child abandonment movie. Now, when
his magnum opus.
Yes. Now when a comedian sees someone I'm gonna talk about abortion. I don't even want to say that because let's see, I'm gonna talk about the Civil War. And I know it's very dicey.
That's gonna be my issue, my pet cause.
But I'm gonna put myself in a hole. I'm gonna dig myself out of it. Great comics always do. And I'll tell you, it doesn't usually end up with people just yelling at old men. In my experience, it is. It often does. All these fucking out there these guys who want to do this all the time. They just start yelling at old people. Because old people are just be funny. That's why they always you see it once or twice, in some album or documentary. These guys digging themselves out of the hole, like Patrice O'Neal. But in my experience, what usually happens is some guy he ends up just yelling at old people because they're this is be funny. Which I'm not saying I'm on their side.
Get off.
I'm not on their side. I try to dig myself out of a hole, and you just yell at old people because they're not having it. They're they want you to be Buddy Hackett.
Right.
And, whatever. Robert Klein.
Yeah.
And I can be Robert Klein.
But, this is, the one issue where, sorry, go ahead.
My point, so this is what Jon Stewart, but this is what is happening. They bring Jon Stewart out, and they're so he's what are you going to do? I'm Jon Stewart from the Abandon Your Kid movie and also The Daily Show, apparently. And people seem to love me. And I'm going to shame you until you do what I say. And they're hey, look at us. We look like monsters, physically.
Yeah.
Most of us look like monsters.
Right.
And the ones who don't really look like pedophiles.
Yeah.
Very much so. We're all closeted or just bigots or we insider trade. We're monsters. I mean, we're also just awful people. But this is the swamp we live in. This is it's like going to prison and thinking you're a tough guy on the outside. And you're well, we live in prison. Now maybe you can fight in prison, but people do, I guess. But so Jon Stewart's coming in, and they're what, you think you can shame us?
Right.
Like,
Well, yeah, that seems to be, that's the competition.
They see it as a challenge. They're like,
Yeah.
well, here, we're going to pull a bunch of parliamentary bullshit. You're going to call us out on it, and a day's going to go by and no one's going to care.
Yeah, like that's the experiment. Like, is it even possible to shame these people anymore? Like, because as far as like popular response,
Right.
like I was watching him on like Fox News a little earlier. And like even on Fox News, it's like when he goes on and explains what the issue is, the Fox News viewers are like, yeah, this is fucked up.
Right.
Like it's like, like every normal person in America thinks this is a no-brainer.
Sure.
But it's like, it's just these lizards.
But it's like Glenn Ross and trying to explain to Ricky Roma, no. You understand, I didn't actually want to buy it. You kind of pressured me. He knows. It's next level shit. This is the thing where it's like, yeah, I know I pressured you.
Right.
The whole point is, can I fuck you while you know I'm fucking you? And the same thing with the Congress.
Yeah.
That's the whole game here.
Right.
So, good luck. I mean, what someone like Jon Stewart would need to do, if people really, if he really wanted to marshal his, all these, bros, these comedy bros that like him, right?
Yeah.
These young men who drink a lot of beer who like Jon Stewart.
Is that the profile?
I'm assuming, just based on his Big Daddy role. He was talking a lot about Molson beer and stuff in that movie,
Yeah.
and not taking care of his kid. So I'm saying, if he wants to get these like frat boy types, so like he needs to like marshal them the way Trump did. Sort of. Trump had a celebrity, and he turned that into political power. Now, how much did he accomplish? Well, I mean, look, he got a bunch of people in the Supreme Court, and they ended up overturning Roe v. Wade. So a great deal, regardless of how you feel about it. And in Congress, but he could do it in Congress. Jon Stewart could become, the new Mitch McConnell one day. But he wants to stay on the outside and just kind of wrap himself in the flag of veterans and 9/11 first responders.
Right.
I mean, is it wrong?
But that's why it's kind of like an unstoppable force meeting an immovable object, because like
It's not though.
No, but because like these people can't be shamed at all.
Right.
But also they have this very like blatant history of like wrapping themselves in the American flag.
Right.
And so what happens when like you wrap yourself in the American flag to shame them as a PR thing, like, will that work? Like, it's like, it's kind of like, it seems like it does work sometimes, but yeah,
Maybe.
no, it's definitely like, there's diminishing returns probably.
Do you think the problem is that a lot of these veterans and for 9/11 first responders are not people who would normally like Jon Stewart? That like he's like trying to help us, but he's not one of the guys. he's a feat, and he's a Harvard graduate, and he's like an intellectual elitist, and so they appreciate what he's trying to do, but it's just they can't really, He's not a man of the muck.
I definitely think that it's the kind of thing where he shows up, he creates these, spectacles for good.
Yeah.
Right. And I think they're deeply appreciative of that and respect him for it.
Yeah.
And then on the car ride home, they're like, "What's up with that guy?"
Right. Is that water he was drinking? Yeah. Fiji water? Drinking Fiji. What is that water? Is that normal water, or is that kind of weird? Does he have a family? What's his deal? He didn't serve, did he? I didn't think so.
No.
No, I heard he went to Harvard. Whatever that means. No, I don't. Can you be a man of the people? Can you be John Kerry tried to. John Kerry came from some kind of money. I forget. I know he married the ketchup heiress, right?
Right.
But before that, I think he came from decent money, right? He was a Kennedy-connected, related person, I think. Right? John Kerry?
Oh, was he?
I believe he wasn't poor. But, my point is, he went to Vietnam. I kind of suspect, a lot of guys, look, you got to do your time and serve, right? You got to go over there. Some people, who want to get into politics, know they got to spend time serving. So he has his whole career where he's trying to be, he look back and go, I went to Vietnam, and then I threw my medal away. I'm the soldier boy, right? I'm a man of the people. And within a second, they swift boated him. They got the swift boat Veterans for Truth. Karl Rove just made an ass out of him. Now, it wasn't even true, but they got these actors, these guys these old men they found at Dunkin' Donuts. And they had to pretend to be like Navy guys, and they just made John Kerry like they were like, I don't think he was even in Vietnam. I mean, these guys are probably like in prison when Vietnam was happening, and not for like conscientious objection. I'm just saying like these. So it's hard for people who've been to Harvard for to kind of be a man of the people. They smell it on you.
Sure.
It's hard, it's just... Now, why was George Bush able to do it? Because he's a better politician.
Yeah, it's a mystery.
Smarter.
Yeah.
So Jon Stewart needs to get smarter is my point.
Right. Yeah, it doesn't matter how many Adam Sandler movies you do.
He only did one, though,
You'll
right?
always be up against it.
I just think he only did one.
Yeah.
If that guy who let's just say, who was that guy and who was his friend all the time? And he was the guy. He ended up being in the movie where he was playing video games or making video games. Grandma's Boy. There was an actor. What's his? Nick.
No,
not Nick Swartzen. There was a guy. Look up Grandma's Boy. It was a film that like this guy was in where it was a decently funny movie. But that guy is the guy Jon Stewart puts in every film. But he's not like he did Grandma's Boy. No one cared. I've said Grandma's Boy more like so many times in this last minute that it'll probably if you type that into YouTube it'll probably come. This video will come up now. It's not that popular. My point is, if that guy was like coming out of Veterans, you'd be like, oh, that's Jon Stewart. I mean, that's Adam Sandler's buddy. Right. The guy who puts in the things. And you'd feel good about that. What's his name?
Peter Dante.
Peter Dante. I'm sure he's a nice guy. Yeah, he's Adam Sandler's buddy who made that one movie. He should be fighting for troops.
You think he would be a more effective communicator?
People look, Adam Sandler could do it, but I mean, that would be too much. Adam Sandler is disqualified. I mean, what would happen if Sandler...
Honestly, Adam Sandler could advocate for literally anything politically, and it would happen tomorrow.
I feel like it might. I mean, you feel like he's lost his juice, but he's still making millions on Netflix. I mean, when's the last time you see Adam Sandler came out with a movie? I guess Uncut Gems was good, but it wasn't like an Adam Sandler movie.
Right, yeah.
Even though he was great in it. But, like, when's the last time like one of these comedies came out with Adam Sandler? And I'm not even taking shots at the guy. He's accomplished so much. And, like, you can tell he don't really care that much. He's not trying that hard anymore. These aren't exactly whatever. That's how beloved he is. If Jon Stewart had a tenth of that, then we would be shoving, just pills, amoxicillin into these troops' mouths as we speak, into these firefighters' throats. We would just be giving them anything they want, ivermectin or whatever cures the lungs from 9/11. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, what would that look like? Hello? Hello, Mr. McConnell. I'd like to sing you a song about the troops. Burn pits. I wish I could do better impressions. I have a burn pit. Burning my deodorant.
You're absolutely right. I do think Jon Stewart has maybe a little bit more credibility than Peter Dante, but
I don't like.
But
I don't like credibility.
Adam Sandler would be just a nuclear weapon.
Sure, I feel like if Adam Sandler is the standard, which we're agreeing he is, we're agreeing he's the Churchill of our era.
Yeah,
or should be. I mean, it makes sense, honestly.
Yeah, he could be.
Why has no one tried that? Everyone's like, I hear things like, "Who are the Dems gonna? Biden shouldn't run next term," but he shouldn't. He's like, come on, he shouldn't. And like, who's he gonna get? And I've always said Michelle Obama would be great. Just like, I'm not saying like, oh, she qualified. Who's qualified? Who's not? Why is she not qualified?
Yeah.
Who cares? But optics wise, I mean, look, people seem to all do. Who knows? It's a crazy country, but she has a great charm. I feel like compared to the people you see in the primaries. But we never think about Adam Sandler, which might be like incredible. It might be like, I mean, this could be. Why don't Democrats do this? I mean, the Republicans got Reagan. And they got Fred Thompson, right? Who was in Days of Thunder and a bunch of other good movies. And he was a senator, right? And who else was an actor? I mean, Trump was in stuff. Home Alone 2. I mean, when's the last Democrat actor who, like, I mean...
Yeah, the Democrats don't do actors.
Wasn't Reagan a Democrat before he became
Al Franken.
Oh, right. He said a senator.
Right.
Yeah, and he was, he was doing like weird like bukkake, like like parody bukkake or something with a soldier. I mean, whatever. It was pantomime bukkake shots, right? He was like grabbing her. He was like, she was asleep. I don't think he touched her, but he was like, look at this. Hey, just grab. Hey, I mean, it's a little hack.
Yeah.
Hey, look. Hey, look. My hands are hurt tits. Or some shit like that.
My hands are hurt.
This is grand. I was on SNL. Lorne Michaels knows how to pick geniuses. Were you like Al Franken? Am I making fun of your boy?
No, I was like,
I
was one of the people like who was going like when Democrats were like, I don't see what the big deal was. I was like, look, it is a little like, what do you? I mean, there was that woman who said he grabbed her ass. Like, it's not all like harmless joshing.
I'm not saying that he's the BTK killer.
Yeah.
I'm just saying that when a lady soldier fell asleep, he started like putting his tongue up to her asshole and taking pictures or something like that. Well, something to that effect.
Well, she wasn't a lady soldier, but
who was she?
She was a performer.
Oh, but she had on like
he was accused of grabbing a female soldier's ass.
But the picture I saw, she was in like I guess they gave her camo like and a helmet on the plane.
Yeah, she was gussied up.
Okay, so she was maybe it's fine. I guess what you're saying, she's an entertainer, so like she's just trash, and he can just do whatever he wants to her. I mean, he's the senator, and she's an entertainer. That's your point, right?
No, I was just pointing out. I just didn't want us to engage in stolen valor on her behalf.
That's a good point. Never steal valor. So my point is Adam Sandler. That's the thing. We also picked Al Franken. Of all the funny people you could pick, I mean, Jon Stewart's one guy. Al Franken's another. I mean, very talented. I like Al. I mean, it's Pat. They wouldn't let him do that now, would they? Probably, or maybe they would enjoy it.
Yeah, I think they'd revamp Pat.
No, that wasn't him. That was
and make it not.
That was Julius Sweeney, right? What did he do?
Oh right, yeah, he didn't do Pat.
What did he do? He did Stewart Saves His Family.
He did Stuart Smalley.
That's the best thing he did. That's really not that good.
I don't remember I don't know anything else he did.
I was gonna say he's a real pro, but he's no Albert Brooks. We should have gotten Albert Brooks. He's great. Adam Sandler with Albert Brooks as his like VP. That'd be phenomenal. And then we can get some troops. Look, and Jon Stewart just gotta get out of the limelight because you
wouldn't even throw Jon Stewart in and make it a trio.
I'd make him like I'd say once we get these guys in power, you can be like the Buttigieg. You can be transportation secretary. You want that? Because people are just doing a decent job. I saw him tweet something a couple weeks ago, and it was like, look, that's not a bad tweet. It was something in response to like political. And I was like, yeah, look, that guy's got a sharp tongue.
Pete Buttigieg?
Yeah, he said something in his role as transportation secretary.
You're going crazy.
I'm just saying, look, the guy can look. The guy's not. I don't want him to lead the free world, for whatever that means. But like he said a nice tweet as the head of the transportation department. And I think that's what Jon Stewart could pull off. So he's for the troops. Okay, interesting.
Yes.
Okay. Well, we wish Jon Stewart the best.
Godspeed.
I hope he still pays attention to the firemen.
I think the firemen are part of it. I think it's all.
They don't have burn pits. That's a whole different thing.
It's a different thing, but they're.
What is a burn pit? Let's talk about that. What's a burn pit? This is they keep like this is something Biden brought up in the State of the Union, right? You watch the State of the Union? He started going off about burn pits and like, is this coordinated with Biden? Because why is this coming up now? What's going on that burn? Because it's the kind of thing where you would think it'd be more eloquently dovetailed. Like it's kind of there's kind of a man behind the scenes kind of thing going on with the burn pits. Like it's part of our of this season's like over like the plot of this season. Like
right.
You know what I mean? Like
of the United States.
The master plot of this season. You got your episodic plots, you got your subplots, but then the overarching plot of the saga, right? The Infinity Saga in Marvel. This is the United States burn pit saga, according to Joe Biden. And he launched it in the State of the Union. He started rambling about burn pits. I don't think anyone knew what he was talking about. Is that his son died in a burn pit? Look up, see if you can find it.
Not Hunter Biden. Bo Biden.
Bo Biden, that he so we're talking about how and I never heard of burn pits before. I mean, I could kind of intuit what they were.
Look
on YouTube.
Yeah, look, it just makes them sick. Like, you want me to just look up the definition of a burn pit?
No, I want you to find that clip of Biden's State of the Union burn pits. See if it comes up.
Oh.
Yep.
Yep.
Nice.
So we have a sacred obligation to equip those we send to war.
What are you doing?
Let's try to turn it up.
You're fiddling around.
Go ahead.
Getting your thumbs in the pudding.
Little Jack Horner put his hand in the dike.
So we have a sacred obligation to equip those we send to war and care for those and their family when they come home. My administration is providing assistance in job training, housing, and now helping lower-income veterans get VA care debt-free. And our troops in Iraq in Afghanistan have faced many dangers, one being stationed at bases breathing in toxic smoke from burn pits. Many of you have been there.
What is Pelosi doing?
She's just up there.
What is this?
She's just trying. Like, she was in the middle of doing another Robin Hood trade. She was, she was trying to, glean from what he was saying. Should she put in some put orders on her stocks?
Yeah. What goes into burn pits? I want to invest in that.
Right. I mean, I'm not the dumbest guy in the world. I know things. I mean, he's talking about burn pits as if we knew about them. Now, it makes more sense now.
I've known about burn pits for a minute. For a hot minute.
Really? Who brings this up? What YouTube channels do you watch?
Well, I knew that Beau Biden's cancer was like partially due to burn pits.
We established that Beau Biden died in a heist with Joe and Hunter.
That's true. I'm sorry. I keep falling back into the government.
They were
narrative.
doing a train heist in Delaware, on the Delaware Acela train. Now, it's fine. I'm just saying, you can't be a coincidence that he's doing that. I've never heard burn pits before. Now, whatever. But I'm saying that comes out. Fine. New thing. You told me something. You're the president. You can tell me stuff. That's just part of your job.
Right.
And now we got Jon Stewart out there burn pitting. Talking about burn pits.
I think he's been talking about burn pits for a little bit.
This doesn't. I'm not saying it's nefarious, but this just has to be connected. It has to be some kind of part of our kind of agenda is burn pit stuff.
Maybe he does know that if he emphasizes the burn pit stuff, that it'll get Biden's ears. What's left of his ears?
Okay.
More.
So he said, look, he started in the State of the Union. He called up the head of the 9/11 first responders group that he helps. And he goes, Jerry, look, it's Jon Stewart. No, I'm sorry. No, it's late. Look, I was watching the State of the Union. You know how I feel about you guys. I think you're salt of the earth. I think you're just real great. You're just as good as the people who went to Harvard.
Thanks, John. We think you're okay. We appreciate your efforts.
I don't think I'm any better than you or any better.
Well, I never said that I thought you were.
Yeah,
right?
I have a career and I'm famous, but I mean, you do real work. Real.
Yeah, well, I appreciate that.
Yeah. No, so it's just. I mean, I love what you guys do. Now.
I haven't been I'm not like a full-time first responder. That was a 9/11. They call us the 9/11 first responders.
A lot of those guys work full time.
Yeah, I know.
Well, you're saying.
I was hoping you wouldn't. Was hoping you wouldn't call that out.
No, my point is, so Jon Stewart's like, look, I love what we've done together. It's a collaboration. But these videos we've made together, they've done really well on YouTube. Now, Biden is doing the State of the Union right now, and he's talking about these burn pits, and I feel like, look, this might be something I can kind of have more effect with. So I might have to kind of just abandon you, like I abandoned my son in Big Daddy.
Well, look, you were great in Big Daddy.
It's not because you didn't go to Harvard, by the way.
Well, I appreciate that. I went to a pretty good school.
You do noble work. It's a noble job you have.
I'm college educated, right? I went to school.
Is a school for firemen?
Yeah, well, look, there's also training for firefighters, but I finished up college first. So.
I'm confused. Anyway, I'm gonna need to go and do this stuff with the veterans now. So, you guys take care of yourselves. You keep your chins up. And Godspeed.
This is a dark perception of Jon Stewart.
I think. He's a famous Hollywood boy. What do you think happens? You think he's just there? You think he's really just this guy, in a plaid shirt and a cup of Joe, and he's just like hey, let's clean the pigs today, Ma. No,
yes, he literally is.
I watch him on his HBO show.
He takes care of wounded pigs, I think.
All right. Okay. Like someone took a picture of him. Yeah, I'm sure he's like elbow deep in a pig's ass right now. Whatever. I wouldn't expect that of him. Using your money to affect things is fine when you're famous. You got to pretend to also be like the guy who like didn't become ambitious because he was busy helping pigs. A lot of people who help pigs don't have anything better because they were so busy helping. So it's fine for the people who went to Harvard to like give their money to help. It's fine, and their persona. He shows up and does a tight 20 or whatever he did. At the Capitol. I'm saying he should really look. The best thing he could do is to try to lean on his supposed friend who never put him in a movie. I don't think Jon Stewart. I mean Adam Sandler.
Yeah,
he was only in one Adam Sandler movie.
I think he was. Yeah.
Why is that?
Look, that's a good question.
You think? Yeah. Do you think they said look, when Big Daddy came out, like people still like it, but they didn't love you in it. They thought you were a little Harvardy. And so we're gonna cut you out. Maybe go get Craig Kilborn's job. Go get Craig Kilborn fired from the Daily Show and take over his job. I don't know why. I mean, I like Jon Stewart.
Yeah.
I feel like you feel like I'm taking shots at him.
No. Yes. But yeah, I think Adam Sandler, if he could, I mean, if they could go to the Capitol and just do a scene from Big Daddy.
If they could reenact, that'd be amazing.
That would probably, that'd make a lot of progress.
I think if they did Tommy Boy, it'd be even better. And neither one of them were in that movie. But,
right.
But if they just did that scene from Tommy Boy on the airplane where he's doing the safety training, like he's a big dynamo. I can't say that long. David Spade would also be. I mean, doesn't seem as likable as Adam Sandler, but he would be fun. He'd be fun as a DP.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Big Daddy is one of those movies that actually pretty consistently makes me cry.
Which part?
The part
part with Steve Buscemi with the bum. He's a bum.
No, like the part where like 3 different parts of that movie make me cry. Like every time I've ever seen it.
When he dresses up in
which hasn't been in a while, but
as a Scuba Steve. That's actually kind of sweet.
Sweet.
I'm Scuba Steve.
But no, the part where the child services woman takes him away, and then the part where Adam Sandler is trying to get him to tie his shoes with bunny ears, but Jon Stewart has already taught him a different way of tying his shoes. Because now he's the Big Daddy. Like,
wait. So he spends a whole movie. What do you mean already? Because I feel like he spends a whole movie trying to get him to tie his shoes, and then Jon Stewart spends one day with him. And he's already tied. So he taught him a way to do it in a day. It took Adam Sandler like 7 weeks.
Yes.
Maybe going to Harvard's not that bad.
Yeah.
I mean, like
there's perks.
We're not saying that like Adam Sandler is going to like lead us to like the Pax Americana, like like it's Camelot and JFK. And, it's like I mean, in the old days you could have like guys who like were policy minded, but now you just need id, and id's not going to get you like these weird renewable energies and like and the economy that's not based on like just like oil and sweat. Mm-hmm. That doesn't. I mean, we're not getting that. We're just trying to keep it going, keep it flowing a little bit. Hell, you have some barnacles on your lungs that came from a weird factory we made you work in. Oh, let's scrape off a few of the barnacles. That's all we're doing here. We're not gonna like build robots unless they're killing people for like not working. That's something that might happen.
Right.
So Jon Stewart wants to get rid of burn. Are we still doing burn pits? I feel like this is kind of crazy. This was 2003. We've already established a bunch of toxic shit. Like, what are they doing in the military?
Yeah, can't they just like fly some of this stuff You know, I know it's not good for it, but like as opposed to just killing the people who are over there, right? Can they just fly it over and drop it in the ocean and kill some fish?
I'm saying like Vietnam happened at a time when like we just assume like the EPA was just coming out, right? Or it hadn't even been out. Like this is like 30, 40 years later, we have the internet and all sorts of shit. And like, we're just aware, right? And we have these policies. You can't just, we put catalytic converters into cars. But they were over there, and this war didn't need to happen. It wasn't like we had to rush over there.
Yeah.
They were planning it back in the 90s, apparently. And like, it was like, well, what do we do with all the batteries and the bullets? I don't know what they're putting in there, but like, they're just shoving everything and burning it. And it's like, who thought this was smart? Who thought this wasn't going to be a cancer thing? They just not care?
Look, I don't think it's good to kill fish, but I'd rather kill some fish than, human beings, preferably.
But they could do both. I mean, wait, what?
I'm just saying go take the toxic stuff and drop it in the ocean.
Oh, I see. Yeah, I mean, look, I'm sure environmentalists will tell you you're crazy, but whatever, yeah. But that makes more sense to me than like, I mean, first of all, why can't they just wrap it up real tight? Why can't they just kind of put it in a big thing and then have like Dow Chemical develop some weird glue that you seal this stuff up with.
Right.
And you dump that in the ocean. There's big balls of this stuff. Now, that stuff will probably be toxic.
Right.
And degrade in some crazy way. But it just seems to me like the burn pits might have been intentional.
Like they wanted to, they didn't have to do it, but they did it.
It just seems so crazy. I mean, am I wrong here? This is like, I was like, this is not that long ago. And we're just like sitting there going like, I mean, I know we also did Abu Ghraib at the same time. And that's also like, why are they naked in the pyramid? This doesn't seem like an effective way to get information.
Yeah.
Even if you want to be brutal, this just seems weird.
Right.
Yeah,
this is clearly just for someone's pleasure.
Like you see those pictures that came out in Guantanamo Bay, like the first prisoners that went there, and it was like it was horrific, but it was also kind of like, oh, this is like, their faces are completely covered in duct tape and garbage bags and their oven mitts on for some reason. But it's like it looks really like, wow, this seems like a super. You'll never get out of this prison. But like,
and those soldiers sure are having fun.
But Abu Ghraib felt like that weird kink castle in porn.
Yeah.
Like just like it just seemed like it's just people shitting on like soldiers are like smearing shit in the walls.
Yeah.
It's like making a horror movie. And it's like, I don't know what the Iraq War was just. It should have taken place in like the 1850s.
Yeah.
It was just with the crazy weapons and stuff. But I'm just saying, they were doing crazy shit. I don't think we appreciate that looking back. All these predator drones we have now.
Yeah.
But we were just making poison and poison in the air, poisoning Beau Biden.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
I mean, what do you think the end game would be of like a burn pit? Because it kills people pretty slowly. It's not like they could never tell the secrets.
No, it's a great point. And it's like, it's one of those things that this is why like I'm not like the conspiracy theorist the way some people are, because like that would keep me from like, thinking too hard it's a fucking plot. Like, what would be the point? Yeah. Now, like, but that's also how crazy it is that they were just like, what we do with our garbage? Burn it. I mean, the whole point of like Halliburton. Don't you remember Halliburton, Dick Cheney's company? I remember people saying there's these $1 trillion contracts to handle shit over there on these bases. And I remember like people tell like, their counter would be like, because he thought it was kind of corrupted. They were doing like, obviously Cheney, like, because it dovetails with like, hey, 9/11, like, well, who would benefit from 9/11? Well, I don't know, Halliburton maybe. and then you go like, okay, well, like, and their counter, some of these people would be like, well, what other company? I mean, they do everything from like toilet paper to paper plates to making the food to making the garbage disposal. Like, why do we need one company to do that? That doesn't seem like it's a benefit. Like, one company does everything. Like, whatever. Like, but my point is, there's supposed to be this great company that, like, you would think, and their solution to the garbage was just to burn it. I mean, it's supposed to be a future company, a company of like some kind of Jetsons shit.
Right.
Like, we're not like some defense contractor or some company you could understand what we do. We're some kind of like Enron that works. You know,
Yeah.
we're some kind of like we're a logistical thing that like kind of we come up with crazy solutions. We don't just dig trenches in next to the plate where the soldiers sleep and throw chemicals into it to burn. Right. That's not what we do.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what they did. That's why it's so crazy.
Yeah, it's no good.
It's not good. But in the 9/11 thing, it makes more sense because like these two buildings came down. Now, yeah, it's just like, you know, there's gonna be a lot of fiberglass and glass and rock in the air. You know, and you know, I'm saying like that makes more sense.
Sure.
It's like you couldn't do 9/11 and not have that.
Right.
I feel like you could do the Iraq War even if you did stage 9/11. And by stage, I mean those buildings still came down.
Yeah.
I'm not only crazy people.
You're not the hologram guy.
Yeah, it was a hologram. They're actually still there.
Yeah.
You can actually go. You can go rent it right now. Where's the space? It's actually quite affordable because people prefer to be able to be seen. Because that's the one downside of having this space. You can't be seen because it's a hologram.
I once knew a guy who was a hologram guy.
Yeah.
And I was like, I was like, I knew him from the local coffee shop in my creepy hometown.
Yeah.
And I was like, you go into Manhattan all the time.
Right.
You've been going there for decades. He was like an old man.
Yeah.
Right. Like it's like you must have seen the Twin Towers.
Right.
Like,
well, he thought the Twin Towers. That's the argument. The Twin Towers themselves were always holograms.
okay, I think it's okay.
I'm pretty sure my brother was in a job interview like in one of them like a week before 9/11.
Holy shit!
Yeah.
So it's either I think the hologram argument is either that the Twin Towers were always a hologram, which is I think obviously crazier than the latter, which is that a hologram somehow replaced the real Twin Towers when the planes were hitting it. We're hitting them.
Wait. So Twin Towers exist.
Yeah.
And then a plane.
Actually, I'm not sure which one is crazier.
That seems crazier because they synchronized the plane hitting, and then they blew it up, and then but they had the hologram stay there. It doesn't make any sense. No, it doesn't. I think that none of that makes sense.
None of that makes sense.
I don't look. If you want to argue that you couldn't, that the way they say the towers came down, the pancaking thing wouldn't have happened. I don't know. I mean, like, there's a lot of back and forth. I mean, I've read the 9/11 Commission. I've seen the 9/11, September 11th, the Pearl Harbor. I've seen Popular Mechanics, whatever. These weird magazines. Why is Popular Mechanics the deciding voice on this? Don't they review like toilets? But whatever. I mean, I digress.
Yeah.
It just seems odd. It's like, maybe we should have like, the Bureau of Standards and this to come out and explain to people, that's gonna go over their head. Just have the guys who review the singing toilet. Yeah. Tell them about why 9/11 happened the way it did. Right. Anyway, but the point is like, but I never understood these people who like think that someone would fake this, right? And then but not kill the people in the plane. Right. Those they landed the plane, took the people out. No, they would just crash the plane.
Right.
Even if it was a drone, they would just, why would these people doing this and then with the intention of making burn pits in Iraq care about the people on the plane? I don't understand. People just don't use it's out there, but you still gotta apply logic to it. And just because some guy made a 5-hour documentary, which he wasn't even claiming that, to be honest. I mean, whatever. So my point is, with some people, that's the problem with a guy like Alex Jones. It's like, I've always said, it's like, you make this problem yourselves because, a lot of what he talks about is true, or what? I mean, I haven't listened to him in a long time, but it's true stuff, right? But it's mixed in with all this craziness, right? And so when you allow someone, when you don't talk about the craziness he did, but you overthrew Iraq and Guatemala and all these things, right? Mm-hmm. And then this guy brings it up. And people are like, well, that's true. So I guess the other shit's true.
Right.
That's the problem with all this.
Yeah.
You don't just...
No, that's why. I mean, you convinced... I don't know if we've ever talked about this before, but you are the person who convinced me that 9/11 was an inside job. That it could very possibly have been an inside job.
Sure. Well, look, I mean, and how did they do that? By two, a paragraph of words.
Yeah, a paragraph. It was just... I mean, you told me about Operation Vigilant Guardian, and I was like, holy shit.
Yeah, there was a war game on the morning of 9/11. There was a war game. It's very early on in the 9/11 Commission report. It's just like that,
And it was that on top of other information. But it's like...
Yeah.
But one of the reasons why I was like pretty, resistant to the idea was one, because I always heard bad arguments
Right.
that it was an inside joke, and two, because I just don't, you don't want to be one of these people who makes like, conspiracies like their whole brand,
Right.
or whatever,
Yeah.
like it's
exactly. Yeah. 100%. He'll email me stuff like, weird shit. Why don't you talk about these positron discs outside of Lansing, Michigan? Like, no.
Yeah.
No. We haven't solved the other shit yet. I'm not taking on the Bigfoot and the positron discs. It's not my everything.
Yeah.
But I would love to. Do people have bits of the Ground Zero? Like my dad had someone giving my dad a piece of the Berlin Wall. He had it on his desk at work. I thought that was kind of cool. The people was that gauche to keep pieces of 9/11.
Keeping pieces of 9/11. Maybe if you like were digging there, maybe, but it seems morbid.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, no one really died in inside the Berlin Wall. I guess.
Right. Yeah.
I was gonna say why didn't that happen, but yeah, because it wasn't a mass grave.
Right. Yeah.
Fair enough. I mean, you think anyone? This is a fair point. This is an interesting point. Side point, because we're gonna bring some levity to this, because we got a little dark for a moment.
Yeah.
Do you think anyone died while taking down the Berlin Wall? And all these jubilant, like we got hammers, and we're not. Look, Google this for me.
Oh, yeah, that's a good.
I mean, look, they're just regular Joes. The kind of people Jon Stewart would, dutifully, respect as a human being. They were just, they weren't Harvard guys, and they were just taking hammers to this giant wall.
Look, victims at the Berlin Wall.
Okay, there we go. Interesting.
Oh wait, no, this is just between the years.
Oh, like people got shot trying to scale it.
Oh yeah.
You see that in movies a lot, but people trying to get out of East Berlin.
Look, it's just it might be so that people died during the takedown, but I think it's just going to get flooded by people who died from bullets being fired at them.
Right. Here's the thing I don't understand. That wall didn't go all across Germany, did it? It was just in Berlin, or did they go across Berlin? Look up like where the Berlin Wall spanned, because I always wonder why they didn't just leave Berlin and try to pass somewhere else. Because in movies, I don't know if people understand. It was a big trope in movies, like someone to be like spy movies or whatever, like try to get them over the wall, and then they would get shot by the guard tower, right? Mm-hmm. What's it saying?
It says that it was just Berlin. It was.
Why would you just go to the next town over and cross?
Yeah, that's a good question.
It's just
look. It was a powerful symbol, that wall.
I would love it if East like Brezhnev was just like whoever, like some one of some top Soviet guys who told the Germans to put it there or whatever.
Right.
I was just like, no, we just wanted them to. We wanted to make it hard for you to go get a drink over at the pub. In West Berlin, and people are fraternizing, and what if you have sex with a girl from West Berlin? And it's just so that's just all it was. No one was shooting each other. I mean, that probably were. I don't want to say no one was getting shot.
Right.
But imagine it's like how it just make it inconvenient to go to the pub. Maybe not. Maybe I'm underplaying it somehow.
I feel like there probably were in the Soviet controlled areas, there were probably checkpoints all over the place.
Yeah.
But it would be funny if it was just I wish we could escape East Berlin. Well, why don't we just go a few towns over? Right. It kind of ruins the symbolism, though.
I mean, but I gotta imagine you got all these salt of the earth types, or maybe they were criminals for all I know. Who I don't know who was taking on the Berlin Wall. We saw a guy say on Jeopardy that he was backpacking through Europe and he just went and got a hammer and helped. Right?
Oh, really?
In Jeopardy when they have they come back after the first commercial break and they're like, "What do you do?" One's like, "I'm in a barbershop quartet and my kid died,"
right?
And stuff like that. And he was like, "I helped took a hammer to the Berlin Wall." I gotta imagine pieces of this shit fell on people. It wasn't like a coordinated operation.
That's true.
We gotta look into this. This could be a breaking story. This could be a what would you call a documentary remake about this? All Dead Along the Watch? No, it's too wordy. Goodbye Yellow Brick Road.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, what you
What about Pink Floyd's The Wall?
just call it Pink Floyd's The Wall? Would we be sued for that? If we made a spurious documentary about like where we actually didn't go back after this, go research this, but we just assumed that it happened and made a documentary. We just made up facts, and then we called it Pink Floyd's The Wall. Do you think we'd be sued by David Gilmour or Roger Waters?
I think they would have a strong case if they wanted to sue us.
They would, right? You think they would be cool about it? You think we met them and say, "Hey,
I think they should appreciate the artistic nature of what we're doing."
Hey, look, you make Dark Side of the Moon. You try to make a point, and we're trying to make money. So why don't you shut the fuck up? You know, I'll see you on the dark side of the moon. What is that?
What the fuck is that?
What is that song about? Wish you were here. Who are you talking to in that song? Talking to a kid? Creep? I'll tell everyone you're talking to a kid. Don't fuck with me. So look, I mean, just to summarize, burn pits.
Yeah, we really squeezed this lemon.
Well, I mean, look, it's just I feel like this is low key, like, well, it's like a weird, like, invisible zeitgeist. It's kind of like Thanos before Infinity War. If you can take another Marvel reference, where like he was the one kind of pulling the strings. All these things are happening because Thanos wanted to get these rings of power, like that's Lord of the Rings, whatever, the Infinity Stones.
Right.
And so all these other movies make sense in context. That's the burn pit thing. The burn pit is like everything that's going to happen, that's been happening in politics or maybe 9/11 makes sense because of the burn pits. Maybe maybe the whole operation. Remember when Rumsfeld, like right before 9/11, was like, "Hey, just want to let you know, the Pentagon here, we're missing like $2 trillion. And we don't know how." And then like apparently that like all the documents got like lost in the Pentagon when 9/11 happened, like 2 days later.
Right.
And then another $5 trillion went missing during the war. Maybe they were just burning receipts in these burn pits. Maybe that was the whole point of the war. It's that like we have so much of a paper trail, like Enron. We have Enron shit. We gotta burn. We got so much shit to burn. We can't possibly shred it. We can't possibly burn. If we burn it in America, someone's going to think it's a forest fire and start paying attention. We got to start a war just to have a pit.
And then we'll throw a bunch of uranium and shit in there too. Just to distract.
Yeah. No, because look, if people don't get cancer from this, they're going to know it was just paper. Okay, we need to like put other shit so they think we're putting batteries and bullets. Because why would you do that? It doesn't make sense. But it would make sense to burn paper, but we can't let them know we were doing that. So just put some Coca-Cola, uranium, depleted uranium, whatever. Give some guys some cancer. Get these guys off our back. That's just a guess. It's an educated guess, but a guess. Thanks so much for tuning in. Don't forget, this week coming up, we got August 7th at the West Hampton Performing Arts Center. We have Tim Dillon and I are doing a live podcast. So go to timdilloncomedy.com. Check that out. It's going to be a great podcast. It's going to be live. You get to see us in the flesh.
The day draws nearer and nearer.
It's a week away. Less than a week away. So get on that. Get on there. There's only I don't think there's that many tickets left. So get on there. Check it out. You can check out our Patreon. You get an extra episode every week for $5 a week. So check that out. And if you don't want to do that, which a lot of people do and they like that, subscribe. Like and subscribe and comment. And, it's a community of Kump. So there's all sorts of ways to enjoy this. And this burn pit theater, as it were. Anything else you want to say?
No.
Have a great week. Thank you.